Welcome to Life Uninterrupted. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shauna. And if this is your first time to our channel, let's give you just a little bit of a backstory. We sold our home and everything in it and left our corporate jobs to live a more purposeful life full-time in our RV. And that was about a year ago.
1 year. Time flies when you're having fun. That's for sure.
Yep. And now it's over.
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime ago that we just started this, and here it is. Just a couple days past 1 year, so.
And that was probably one of the fastest years of our lives, I guess, because you know what they say, how time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, didn't I just say that?
Did you say that? Oh, did you say that?
All right, so we have a ton of notes, and we don't want to miss anything. So you're going to see our eyes glance down and refer to our notes and our spreadsheet with all of our expenses and our budget items, and hopefully we're not going to do a lot of editing in this video. We're just going to kind of do it, and if we mess up when we talk and we have to re-say things, then we're going to do that because
this is real life.
Yeah, it's just real life. So yeah, so I guess Shauna, talk about kind of some of the things we experienced this last year.
It was one heck of a year, not without its challenges, but there were challenges, and there were some great experiences, some celebrations along the way. So let's recap.
Unfortunate incidents and things. Yeah,
a lot that was unexpected. So we survived some major storms. And that would be tornadoes, thunderstorms, hailstorms,
windstorms. Lots of windstorms. I'd say windstorms more than anything.
Yeah.
And any of you who live in an RV, we have a 35-foot coach. I can imagine we've had smaller ones too, so we know what it's like in super windy conditions. But even with this larger coach with sort of anchored to the ground with the hydraulic stabilizers and everything, still get rocking and rolling. So, yeah.
But we're always safe, which is
felt
great.
Safe.
Yeah, we were always safe. We got the opportunity to visit family that we haven't seen in a while. We got to see our son in Maryland, and we got to see your side of the family in Indiana. It was actually an extended stay.
7 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was at least that. We did have a death in the family during that year. My mom passed away in August of last year. We survived a major breakdown.
And I'll put a link to the video here so you'll get a feel for that.
Something that we would never have expected.
Worst nightmare, but we just wouldn't have expected it. So,
no.
Yeah.
We got to go home for the holidays, and that was always the plan anyhow, that we were going to go home for the holidays. Yeah. But we definitely achieved that, even in light of the breakdown, but we made it home limping, but we did it. We did some extended boondocking, which was great. We did 30 days in the Quartzsite, Arizona area out in the desert, and it was a wonderful precursor to the coronavirus lockdown.
Yeah, this whole mess. So
which was what took us through to the end of our first year.
Yeah, it's made life a little more difficult for everybody, not just those of us who live on the road, but it's especially challenging for those of us who live on the road. But fortunately, we've managed to work through it just fine. And,
absolutely. I think we were better situated than some folks in that we had the freedom and areas to be able to move around a little bit. And in fact, we are still boondocking right now. We're moving around slowly, but we do have a goal in mind. And we are boondocking at Walker Lake here in Hawthorne, Nevada. Walker Lake?
Well, yeah, it's the Walker Lake recreational site. It's a huge natural lake that it's quite amazing, the story behind it. So we'll leave a link. You can go and explore that and see about this whole lake and this recreation area.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is nice. So that's the lake in the background, and we have a sort of a campsite here that's perched up basically almost higher than anybody in this area. No one in front of us, nobody to the back or sides of us, so it's pretty nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah, we got really lucky.
We did.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about some of our travels. We traveled to 27 states and Mexico. And some of those states were repeats as we made our way around the U.S. East Coast down to the Keys, back up, and then to Arizona again for the holidays. So a couple of those states were repeats.
Well, yeah, and part of that was because of the coronavirus and then having reservations that were changed on us several times, which I'm sure several of you have had the unfortunate luck to have that occur. So we bounced around from Arizona to Nevada, back to Arizona, California. So that's all included in there. I think we actually hit 17 new states in this last year.
It's actually 18.
18
states,
plus Mexico, that's right. But a total of 27. So we moved around quite a bit in the last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ricky and Lucy, our French bulldogs, are becoming more and more well-traveled. And
They are.
so we have our back to the lake, and we're facing our coach, and Lucy and Ricky are right there in the door. So they
They have their eyeballs on us right now.
They might say hi at some point during the video. So be on the lookout for that.
All right. Well, why don't we get into the spreadsheet? I'm sure everyone's dying to know how much we spent over the last year.
Yeah. So these are our average costs or expenditures over our first year.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're living full-time, we'd be curious to know how your costs, compare to ours.
Absolutely.
One thing we want to make clear is that, when we decided to start this lifestyle, we never went into it with a mindset of being super frugal or super minimalist or doing without or living, as cheaply as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to go into it so that we could live less cheaply than we did in our sticks and bricks.
Definitely.
So to give you an idea, we spent roughly a little less than $10,000 a month to live in our sticks and bricks. That's with mortgage, insurance, vehicles, all that stuff. So it gives you an idea of, and when we talk about our costs, how much less expensively we're living now.
Yeah. And our overall goal really was to have more experiences and less stuff than it was to have a minimalist lifestyle. Although, that's all part of it.
Yeah. You certainly have less stuff.
We certainly do.
Stuff.
I like to say we have everything we need and nothing that we don't.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And our goal also was to stay within our own budget. Our budget may be completely different from your budget, and all of that's okay. So what we're going to do a comparison against our budget, and then you can compare that to your own.
All right, so let's get into this thing. We had originally said we thought at least we would spend about $4,800 in fuel. We actually spent $5,697.77, and that averaged out to about $474.81 a month. Now, that does include gas, because our coach has gas, and gas for the Jeep, and propane. We just lumped all of that in together. So that then leads into the miles per gallon that we get on our coach and our Jeep. To be honest with you, I really haven't taken the time to calculate. I've kind of looked at averages. The previous owner said he got about 7 miles to the gallon. So I've always kind of went with 7 miles to the gallon. And mileage-wise on the motorhome, let's see, we traveled 9,444 miles the entire year. So that's an average of about 787 miles per month. And then, of course, the Jeep, even though it gets towed behind the motorhome, and there's some wear and tear regarding that, we actually only drove the Jeep under its own power 7,569 miles for an average of 631 miles per month.
So let's move into lodging. Lodging, we actually budgeted $4,800 for the year. And, when you first start out as a full-time RVer, you don't really know what to budget. And where we came up with these numbers was watching other YouTube videos, full-time RVers, and what they budgeted for the year. Of course, everyone's expenses are going to be a little different depending on the type of coach, how you travel, where you stay. So we chose $4,800 as a starting point. We ended up spending $3,471.21 overall, and that was an average of $289.27 per month. We significantly, actually, I think we almost cut our budget in half from the first 6 months to the second 6 months, and that's attributed to staying in place quite a bit. Also, the purchase of a 1,000 Trails membership, which we'll get into in a little bit. But we were able to go from $395 on average per month to $183.65. Now, when we calculated the cost per night, we did it two different ways, and I'll share that with you. The average cost per night for the year, for 365 days, all in, and that takes into account every place that we stayed, whether it was boondocking in an RV park, a campground, all in, came out to $9.51 per night. That's not too shabby, right?
Yes, pretty inexpensive.
Yeah. When you consider the average stay is usually around $30-$35 a night for an RV park.
Yeah.
So again, that's all in. Now, if we take the average cost per night for paid stays only, so this doesn't take into account boondocking or Thousand Trails, anything like that. This would be paid stays in an RV park, a campground, and so forth. That average is $29.66. So that's very close to the average that you would pay in a regular RV park.
So keep in mind, there's everything, when you're out on the road, there's everything from free all the way up to our experience is, I think, well over $200 per night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we weren't
way out of our
we weren't
budget,
interested in staying. It'd be nice to maybe stay one night or something just to kind of get a feel for things. But even in one night, you wouldn't get the feel for things.
Or maybe if it's like our vacation, we're taking a week vacation in the middle of all this, that might be acceptable. Yeah.
But better be pretty darn good for $200 a night. So.
So to recap, $29.66 for all paid stays and $9.51 average per night for the past 365 nights. Yeah, which is great.
So let's talk about what that breaks down to in terms of the number of nights.
As far as where we stayed, whether it was RV park, campground, so on. So we spent 140 nights in RV parks. We spent 52 nights in the campground or state parks. We spent 91 nights boondocking, 71 nights lot docking or mooch docking, and that would include staying at our family's house in their driveway or Cracker Barrel, Walmart, Harvest Host we threw in there as well. That's what we would consider lot docking, mooch docking. And then we did have 11 nights in a hotel when we had our major breakdown, but we didn't take those expenses into consideration in our budget because we were reimbursed for those. But just wanted to throw it out because if you start doing the math, it needs to add up to 365 nights.
And I'll put a link to that insurance program that we use. It might be helpful for you if something like this were to happen. I know it certainly was for us. A lot of insurance policies have, for full-timers anyway, have this kind of coverage. So check your policy if you're a full-timer. It may have reimbursement for those kinds of expenses, emergency. They may be called different things, but I think ours is called emergency lodging expenses or something like that. So check your policy. If not, I'll put a link here to Family Motor Coach Association's policy that we had at the time, and it worked well for us.
Oh, it was hugely, hugely helpful for us during that time. Okay, groceries. If you recall from our 6-month video, groceries was out of control.
And we had a lot of comments.
Oh my God.
A lot of comments on what do you eat? And, it must be nice to eat lobster and filet mignon all the time and those kinds of things. So
yeah,
it was quite shocking.
I wish that was the case, but unfortunately it wasn't.
Yeah, but again, we're not living this lifestyle to be super frugal and minimalist and do without. Mm-hmm. We enjoy our food and we enjoy going out to eat, at least prior to the pandemic. And anyway, I think we did a good job getting those costs down.
We definitely did a good job. I think there's probably still a little room for improvement. We've made some changes along the way. But we budgeted $7,200 for the year. For groceries, we ended up spending $7,343.73. So yes, of course, we exceeded our budget by a little bit. And our average grocery bill per month was $611.98. Yeah. In our first 6 months, we spent on average $800 a month, and we brought that down to $659.31. So
the second 6 months, we brought it down. Yeah.
Big win.
$150, something like that. $141. So, hey, and a little bit counts. So that $141 that we saved, per month, the second 6 months, we can put that into an emergency fund or whatever. So.
Exactly. That's right. And a big part of that was we got an Instant Pot for Christmas, and we're using that Instant Pot regularly, making big meals and then freezing that. We're planning our groceries. We're trying to stay out of the grocery store unless we really need to buy something.
Yeah, when we can, we'll go to Sam's Club or Costco and kind of buy some bulk items. Plus, if you haven't already watched the video to that little spare 12-volt refrigerator we have, I'll put a link to that. That allows us to take stuff out of our refrigerator and freezer and put in this secondary small refrigerator, which then gives us more room to put in our primary refrigerator and freezer. So that helps.
And we can buy a little more, what am I trying to say?
More bulk.
Yeah, we
Or
can buy in
bulk
bulk.
items, yeah.
Exactly. And have the storage for it. Okay, the other side of that
Dining
then.
out.
What's that?
Dining out.
Oh, so the other side of that, yes, is dining out. As Brian said, we budgeted $2,400 a year. We ended up spending $3,686.58. Yeah,
How did we do that, you might say?
for an average of $307.22 per month
Across the entire year, of
across the
course.
entire year. Yes.
So our first 6 months was quite high, $700 per month, but we brought that down significantly to
$238.09. And a big part of that is attributed to just, well, in the first 6 months, we were traveling to so many different places, and we really wanted to try the cuisine in that particular area.
who doesn't?
Yeah. And of course, we were still in kind of that vacation mode during that time. In the second half, we spent it quite a bit with family too.
So I think actually most of that $700 for eating out was actually spent when we went to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
Or Disney World.
That was a big expense.
Yeah.
Big expense. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kidding, but it was pretty expensive.
It was expensive.
Everybody knows it's expensive there, so
yeah.
But that's included in that. So
it sure is.
Yeah.
A
couple of days, 2 or 3 days. What do we spend? 2 or 3 days at Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
It adds up.
It adds up. There's your $700 right there.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time with family in the second 6 months. We did a lot of boondocking, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity to go out and hit the breweries and the big restaurants and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So we really brought that down.
Yeah.
Another high five.
I really miss going to a nice brewery or a brew hall or beer house and sampling the beers and things. So it's going to be on our bucket list as soon as things start reopening.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another good point, right? The whole coronavirus lockdown brought those dining out expenses way down.
This is true.
Yeah.
And that said, though, traveling through the U.S., I mean, grocery costs vary wildly. When you're in a little small town, for instance, you can go to a larger town, a larger chain stores. You can get a package of bacon for $3 or $4. Maybe $5. In some of the small towns we've been in, $8, $9. I've seen it up to $12 a pound for bacon.
Yep.
So you had to pick and choose whether that's important to you or not, and whether that's something you want to eat. If not, you do away with it. But anyway, my point is costs in smaller towns are significantly higher. And we did spend a certain amount of time this winter, significant amount of time actually, in smaller towns. So those costs are going to be higher.
Yeah. Memberships. Okay, memberships. We budgeted $1,000. We knew we were going to purchase 1,000 trails. Didn't quite know how much it was going to be at that time. So we budgeted $1,000. We ended up spending $956.59 for an average of about $79.72 per month. And what we purchased, we have Harvest Host. We have 1,000 trails that we purchased in the August timeframe last year, so we didn't get a full year of that. Passport America, which we highly recommend because you get pretty much 50% off at RV parks.
And sometimes that's only for 3 nights. We've stayed in parks where it's for 5 or 7 nights as well. So that's good. Yeah,
Passport America can vary widely between only available during certain months to 14 nights anytime. It just all depends on the park and the state.
We'll put links to all of these memberships. You'll get a discount, and it kind of helps us out too. So full disclosure.
We have an America the Beautiful Pass, also known as the National Park Pass, which was a significant savings for us.
Cost $80, and we've saved hundreds.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go through that in just a moment as to what we saved. And we have an Escapees membership, which we have not used yet, so we haven't been able to take advantage of that. And I think that's it as far as memberships go.
That's it.
But I calculated, as far as memberships, how much we saved by purchasing each membership. So Harvest Host, we spent 3 nights. I wish it had been more. But 3 nights in Harvest Host, and when you take out the cost of the membership and those 3 nights, we ended up saving $43.98. So it paid for itself. Fantastic. Thousand Trails, we purchased that in August of 2019, so we didn't get a full year of that, but we did manage 75 nights in the Thousand Trails system. And if we take those 75 nights and take out the cost of that membership, we actually saved $1,474.50. That's a huge win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we had other reservations within our first year at Thousand Trails Parks that ended up being canceled. So we incurred some additional RV park expenses that we may not have had. But overall, I think $1,474 was a good savings.
Yeah.
Then our Passport America, where we get almost 50% off per night. We spent 25 nights in the Passport America system, and we saved $461. Not too shabby. Our America the Beautiful Pass, also known as the National Park Pass, we spent 24 nights in their system, and we saved $271.84. And that comes up to a total savings of $2,251.32, which in my book, that's another win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And talking about the National Park Pass or America the Beautiful Pass, but also if you don't have that, or those of you that do, you may have a senior pass or some of the older passes that are still honored. But I mean, that's entrance fees are free, 50% camping discounts at Army Corps of Engineers parks. So that's an awesome benefit. And I have to say, most of those nights, I think isn't all 24 of those nights. All 24 of those nights, I think we spent at Corps of Engineers parks. So.
Yes, primarily. Yeah. And they're great
all
parks.
over the U.S.
Oh my gosh, if you have not stayed at an Army Corps of Engineer park, you need to look into that. They are awesome.
They certainly
We haven't been disappointed yet on any of those.
No, we haven't.
All right, you get the biggies.
All right, so next two items are repairs and maintenance. Repairs is going to be hugely skewed because of the engine debacle. So we had a budget of $4,500. Repairs for the first year were $9,294.17. About $6,100 of that was the engine. Okay, so if you take that out of the 92-94, you're looking at around only $3,100 or so. So well under the $4,500 budget. But anyway, leaving the engine costs in there, that's $774.51 per month. All right, so some of the repairs that we had during the first year: slide rams, had a cracked windshield, I had some awning repair due to that issue in South Dakota. The cruise control went out, so I had to fix that. Was able to fix that myself. Replaced the main water pump in the coach. The refrigerator door broke and fell off in my hands.
Fell right off at 9:30 p.m.
Had to replace the door. That was only a couple $100. All the engine rebuild work. Had to replace the struts in the Jeep, the front struts, and also the brakes in the front. And then we had some tire repair due to a big rock that was in the middle of the road that we hit. So we had
Jumped right out in front of me.
Yeah, knocked the alignment out of the Jeep, so had to have that aligned. And so that's pretty much it for 2019. Now, some of the things we're going to expect to have to spend major replacement items in 2020 are going to be tires on both vehicles. So I expect to spend probably well over $3,000 on the coach and probably close to $1,000 on the Jeep.
All right, let's talk about one of my favorite topics. That would be clothing. I budgeted $960 for the year, and that was really to include necessities, socks, underwear, T-shirts that we might want to buy at some place that we go to, or a hat.
Souvenir things.
Souvenir things, exactly. We ended up spending $469.70 for an average of $39.14 per month, and that pretty much proved itself that it was just going to be a few things here and there, which is a huge change from the life that we used to live in our sticks and bricks.
Yeah.
Shopping was my thing, and I could spend easily $300 in a week on clothing. So shopping has a completely different meaning to us now. It's usually just for necessities. Big change that we've made.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Entertainment is the next topic. And entertainment, we budgeted $3,000. We ended up spending $1,573.33, so just about half of what we budgeted, for an average of $131.11. Now, entertainment is basically park fees, entrance fees, excursion fees, anything that we would pay really to have fun, to go hiking, to go snorkeling, to go, actually Disney World is included in that.
So it's also important, I think, to note that most of these expenses were in the first 6, 7, 8 months. So the last 2 or 3 months, there's been basically nothing in terms of entertainment.
The other change
like
too,
most of us. So.
When it comes to entertainment fees, when we purchased our e-bikes, we spent a lot more time just going on bike rides and kind of stayed away from the parks and excursions, that sort of thing.
Yep.
I don't know if that'll pick up in this next year or not. Maybe as we go to because we're going to have the America the Beautiful Pass, so that's not going to.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
But that's one of the reasons we got the bikes, so that we could just kind of go out and do something that's less expensive and still enjoyable.
Right.
And meet a lot of good people that way too. So.
Yeah. Okay. Health insurance.
Now this is going to vary for a lot of people, depending on if you're retired, if you have Social Security, if you're retired military and have those benefits. I am a veteran. I'm not retired, so I don't have veterans benefits as far as that goes. So this cost is going to vary for a lot of people. So
right, and this was an area that we were very anxious about, a little apprehensive going into this lifestyle. We didn't know what we were going to do when we first started out. So we went out again and found what others are doing as far as health insurance costs. And we've changed throughout the year. So we budgeted $7,800, and that was just based on what we knew as far as the insurance that we had. We left our corporate jobs. We went on to Cobra. Cobra can be very expensive if you've ever had to go that route. Ours was actually not too bad. When we started out. I think it was around $650 per month, but then it jumped up after January. Yeah,
after January, it was going to be like $2,000, $1,800 to $2,000 per month for both of us on I think a relatively mid to high deductible plan.
Yeah.
So we knew that had to change.
Yeah. So we started shopping around for options, went out and saw what other full-time RVers are doing. And we came up with Christian Health Ministries, which is a health sharing plan. Yeah. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Health sharing, health cost sharing.
Health cost sharing, yeah, there you go. And reduced our costs significantly. We went from, we budgeted $7,800. We ended up spending $7,965.31 for an average of $663.78 per month.
But keep in mind, the majority of that cost is under the Cobra plan as well.
Yes, yes. And now our health insurance costs that we're presenting here to you do include our insurance that we pay the premiums, doctor visits, so we did have a few urgent care situations in there, and then prescriptions, so that's all included in the total that we're sharing with you today. So I did mention that we went to the Christian Health Ministries, and we brought that expense down to $374 per month. And I'm going to put out more information on CHM in case it's something that you might be interested in.
Yep. It's not for everyone,
but right.
If you're relatively healthy and you can, live with high deductibles and paying a certain amount of money out of your pocket, because I believe that, and I've always said this, that health insurance is just in case insurance, not in every case insurance.
Right.
So
right.
That's just my viewpoint.
Yeah. So we started that in March, and we haven't had a lot of opportunity to bring our costs down for the last year, but we should definitely see some cost savings in 2020. In fact, moving to CHM will save us about $444 per month.
Right.
Yeah. I think you have the next one.
Let's talk about cell phone carriers and wireless coverage. So we had a budget of $2,220 per year. We came in at $2,155.02 for an average of $179.59 per month. The first 6 months were a little bit higher because we had different plans. We were paying $185 just about including taxes and everything. Second 6 months, we were down to 174.67. So we did have a major change. We were with AT&T, and we switched over from AT&T to their sister company. I'm sorry, from Verizon to their sister company, Visible. So our cell phones, 2 lines under Verizon were about $185 per month, including taxes. Under Visible, we were able to get that down to $80 per month for 2 lines, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
And then we have our AT&T plan for our cell router, and that is $37 a month and some change. So significantly less.
Significantly less.
Yeah.
So you know that we purchased a portable washing machine. Our rig didn't have a built-in washing machine and dryer. So we purchased a portable to store in our shower. So we anticipated that the laundry expenses would be very low. In fact, we budgeted $120 for the year. We ended up spending $177.75 for an average of $14.81 per month.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, the cost actually went up from the first 6 months to the second. For the first 6, we were paying about $10 a month, which was really cheap. And a big reason for that was because we could use our portable washing machine.
Right.
We were plugged in to a park that had water, had electricity. When we moved out to boondocking, then we were more reliant upon laundromats, and those can get pricey.
Yeah, because the unit we have takes probably around 10 gallons of water per load. It's a lot of water, so you can't do that boondocking, or else you'd run out of water pretty quickly. So.
Right. I mean, you can hand wash a few things here and there.
We've done that. Yeah.
We've done that, yeah. And actually, we purchased for the back of the rig one of those, have these little arms that stick out so you can actually dry your clothes off the back. We've only been able to use that once or twice.
Yeah, most RV parks don't allow you to use those things.
Yeah, that's true too. But when we can, I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Insurance for the RV and the Jeep. So we budgeted $3,000, and through the course of kind of shopping for some insurance and getting some discounts, and in a couple of cases I had to increase our insurance amount for some of the coverage, personal item coverage in the rig. So that's it's kind of changed over the last year. We budgeted $3,000, ended up spending $2,242.81 for an average of $186.90 per month. Now that's full coverage, full-timer insurance on the motorhome, and only liability on the Jeep part of the year. So part of the year I had full coverage on it just because we weren't sure, what was going to happen, and we just didn't want to have some huge expense on the Jeep. But even though it ended up happening, so those costs kind of varied through the year. And the biggest change was when we changed our residency from Arizona to South Dakota. It cut those costs well in half, if not more. So
yeah, and I think even in Arizona, they go by your zip code as to how much insurance you're going to pay. We were in one of the higher zip codes as well.
This is true.
So, yeah, we saved a lot.
All right, so that brings us really to the end of all of our monthly costs and categories.
Yeah.
So the only thing left to talk about,
and
is that end number, the tally of all of that, right?
Right.
So our budget, based on what we thought we were going to spend, $42,300.
Right, and let me also say that I thought that was on the high end. And
our actual total expenditures for the first year, $47,172.96 for an average of $39.3108 per month.
Right.
There's Ricky in the background saying hi, if you can hear that.
She wants to be a star.
So, $47,172. You know what? We've heard a lot of people say that if you're going to live a full-time RV life, you're going to plan to spend anywhere from 36 to anything you want to spend, really, but the average is around 30 to probably 45,000. So we're not too far out of the ballpark. Keeping in mind that, well over 6,000 of that, 7, maybe even 8,000 of that was the engine. and a
Yes.
couple of big mistakes that are my fault that kind of helped increase those costs. So we actually probably could have been closer to around probably $40,000.
And with all of this, we then put together a new budget for 2020, and we're going to make some changes. We reduced in some areas just based on the way we're going to travel for 2020 and the way we've had to travel because of the coronavirus. Our fuel costs, we anticipate, will come down, so we've budgeted less. Our health insurance, we know, is going to come down because we've switched providers. And we're also doing more to take care of ourselves so that we can hopefully avoid urgent care and telehealth and that type of thing.
You know, that said, we're pretty healthy, and we've had, things come up. You get a sinus infection or an eye infection or something like that. But, those things come up and you deal with those. But in terms of our overall health, we're in good health. So as long as we stay that way and there's no accidents or anything out here on the road, I think we'll be fine. The long and short of it is, we've learned a lot over this last year.
Learned a ton.
And, those are opportunities to improve, and we'll certainly look at that. Just like in our professional lives, we look at the mistakes we made and projects that we did, and, what opportunities do we have to do things better or differently the next time. So
every mistake is a learning opportunity.
This is true.
Right? And we've had a lot of those. It was not as cheap or inexpensive a life as we had expected.
Yeah.
But for us, the rewards completely outweigh, the mistakes that we've made and the costs associated with those. So
one of our favorite sayings is our house may be small, but our backyard is huge.
Huge.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we get to call this our home right here. How many people get to do that? So that's fantastic.
This is true.
Yes. Expect the unexpected. If there's one message that we can pass on to you, I think that's it. And then also just to
roll with the punches.
Roll with the punches. And again, just to clarify, our goal was not to see how cheaply that we could live relative to other full-timers. Our goal was to trade our stuff for experiences, but to live within our budget. And in some cases we did that, and in some cases we didn't. Lessons learned, we move forward.
Our goal is to enjoy life as much as we can for as long as we can do it out here. And helping reduce those expenses will just ensure our longevity out here.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Well, all in all, it was a challenging and a very exciting year.
Yes.
I look forward to 2020, once we get out of lockdown, how exciting this year's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, hey, I think that's going to wrap things up. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our Lou crew.
Definitely. Hit that bell, and then you'll be notified anytime that we launch a new video.
Absolutely. Until next time.
We'll see ya.